Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all the lecturers and our supervisor, which is Encik Karim Ashraf bin Ahmad Maliki. We are from Group 8 and we will present about our project which titled Auto Sanitized Wheelchair. So, our course lecturer is Puan Ismaniza binti Ismail. This group has 4 members, which is me, Nurul Shahira binti ANUAR, MOHAMAD LUQMAN HAKIM bin M.SURIANTO, ALYYA Asyrofil binti RUSMI and MOIZZUDIN bin SHAHROZI. Next, I will continue with our next slide, which is introduction for our project. Recently, our whole world has been shaken by the news of COVID-19 that make every single person's lifestyle change drastically, especially hospital employee, which also known as frontliners. Based on data taken from Dr. Nur Hisham, the Director General of Health Malaysia article, there has 3 high-risk group that will easily get infected with COVID-19, which is senior citizen, children, and people with chronic disease such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. As we know, hospital equipment such as wheelchair is the most important thing that should give more attention because it will easily get infected by the virus of COVID-19. This is because wheelchair has many exposed part. To reduce the hospital worker burden, we have decided to innovate wheelchair to auto sanitized wheelchair. The reason why we choose wheelchair is because wheelchair will frequently used in hospital by everyone. So the hospital worker has to sanitize the wheelchair frequently to make it safe from virus COVID-19. So with auto sanitized wheelchair, it will reduce the burden. Next, I will pass to ALYYA ASYROFIIL to explain about problem statement and objective.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. My name is ALYYA Asyrofil binti RUSMI and my matrix number is 01 DKM4A F2023. Now I will explain more about our problem statement. Okay. The first one is hospital workers are having a hard time to sanitize all the wheelchairs in the hospital. So the project is to provide simple and easy ways to sanitize the wheelchair to lessen their burden. Okay, as we know now, based on the current situation that occur in our country or basically the whole world, we know the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has widely spread across the world. So hospitals are, of course, the main destinations for those who are sick. Till now, there's still no specific hospitals and vaccine for the one who are infected by the virus. So the virus are really active and can be easily spread to those who are who age above 60 and those and children can easily get infected by the virus. So in order to prevent it from spreading more, WHO, or also commonly known as World Health Organization, suggested people to wash their hands and sanitize hands, tools, or things that we use in our daily life frequently in order to avoid from the virus to spread. So in hospitals, before people getting treatment or diagnosed with what kind of sickness they have, we didn't know whether they have the virus or not. So for safety precaution, of course, the tools, things, and everything in the hospital has to be sanitized frequently because the virus can also be spread through touching those things. If people who touch that touch that things have the virus. But the main problem is in hospital workers are limited and patients are majority in the hospital. So we choose auto sanitized wheelchair as our uh, as our pro- as our project. I'm sorry, as our project because we want to provide safe, simple, and easy ways to sanitize the wheelchair. And the another one is patients that are not having ability to walk are common in hospitals, such as senior citizen or the one who are disabled. They need the wheelchair as soon as they arrive at the hospital. So the project can make it faster for the wheelchair to be sanitized, and also it won't take too much time to use it. The wheelchair again. So the next one is objective overall. Okay, the first one is to design an auto sanitized wheelchair, and the second one is to develop a spray nozzle and component to be placed on the push handles, hand rims, footrest, and brakes. The third one is to develop the segmenting code into functions to create modular pieces of code that perform a defined task. Number 4 is to develop an electrical circuit to make the sanitizer move automatically from tank to all nozzles. The fifth one is to develop a main storage tank under the seat and calculate capacity in whole tank and capacity for one spray. And the last one is to evaluate an auto sanitized nozzle spray at the wheelchair to decrease the burden, the one who work to sanitize it in hospital.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Usman, can be Muhammad SURIANTO ALYYA. My metric number is 01 DKM4A 2014, and my objective for this part is to design a spray nozzle placed on a wheelchair for cleaning. Second is to determine the appropriate type of spray nozzle is used. And the last objective is to test the suitable degree of spray nozzle on the wheelchair section. And my scope is to analyze the type of spray nozzle to use and to analyze the appropriate degree of spray nozzle on the wheelchair section. The second slide is literature review. The spray nozzle is precision tool that facilitates the diffusion of liquid into the spray. There are many types of spray nozzle and also different use. Suitable spray nozzle used in this project is atomizing spray nozzle. The degree of spray nozzle is also important to ensure the spray sanitized accurately on the whole of the part. The part to be sprayed on the nozzle are on the hand rim, push handle, backrest, seat, armrest, brake and footrest. On hand rims, the degree of spray nozzle applied is 360 degree. On the push handle, backrest, seat, armrest, brake and footrest, the spray nozzle degree applied is 65 degrees. Next slide is methodology. The methodology has been used to make spray nozzle in this chapter is define the information that include is first design concept. This design is like bullet that goal of a nozzle is to increase kinetic energy of the following medium at the expense of its pressure and initial energy. Second, this design also produce a spray called full cone spray. Full cone spray produce a through spray on the object. Such spray pattern is commonly used in a large variety of industrial process, since it is the one which allow to distribute in an even way the water flow onto a surface. Next slide. There are two types of design spray nozzle that we use. First design. For this design, it produced with 4 nozzles to give a 360-degree angle spray. This design is placed on the hand ring. Second design. For this design, it has one nozzle that can adjust the spray angle. It is placed on the seat, backrest, brake, push handle, and armrest. The spray angle used is 65 degrees. Next slide. Material for the product. The spray nozzle is made of brass, therefore this spray nozzle can resist high pressure and is not easily to damage. When high pressure can be applied to the spray nozzle, this quality of spray can also be produced. Connection between spray nozzle. Use tube connected to the tank and water pump to send liquid sanitized to the entire spray nozzle. My expected result is this spray nozzle can provide a true and quality spray on the object. The small spray nozzle size does not interfere with the comfort of this wheelchair user. And the last is the brass material that form the basics of this spray nozzle construction make it durable and not easily damaged.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. My name is ALYYA Binti RUSMI and my matrix number is 01 DKM4A F2023. And now I will present about my part. So four objectives. The first one is to design the microcontroller which can be easily programmed, erased and reprogrammed at any instant of time. The second one is to develop the segmenting codes into function to create modular pieces of code that perform tasks. The third one is to test the codes to run the program on the components in Arduino kit. Okay, next is scope. The first one is to analyze the microcontroller to run the system without any complication. The second one is to analyze the codes to make the sensors function. Next is literature review. The first one is microcontroller. Microcontroller is the heart of the development board, which works as a mini computer and can receive as well as send information and or command to the peripheral devices connected to it. The microcontroller differs from board to board. It also has its own various specifications. Arduino Uno is a microcontroller board based on the AT-Mega 328P, as we can see in the picture. Now I will explain a bit more about this microcontroller. Okay, the first one is USB port. The port is used to transfer data and programs to the Arduino. It is also used to power the Arduino. This one. Okay, next is DC power. If it didn't connect to the Arduino to the computer via USB, we can connect the Arduino by connecting the DC power to a power supply or maybe a battery pack. And the last one is header. Actually, there are 4 header that expose pins. You can connect your peripherals to the Arduino using those pins. And as we can see, this is AT-Mega 328P. This is the brain of the Arduino Uno, the microcontroller. It sits on a socket, so if needed, we can swap it with a new one. The next one is coding. Okay, the Arduino Integrated Development Environment IDE is the main text editing program used for Arduino programming. It is where you'll be typing up your code and before uploading it to the board you want to program. Okay, so this is the code for one of the codes example for the coding that we will use in the future when we make when we want to run the program for for the auto sanitized wheelchair. Okay, the next one is breadboard, a board on which can build electronic circuits like a patch panel with rows of holes that allow to connect wires and components together. Versions that require soldering are available, as well as the solder stud used here. For the project, the breadboard used is the solderless type of breadboard. Why we choose the solderless type of breadboard? Because if we use the if we use the soldering board, so maybe if we make mistake, we can't use it again, the board again, because it will ruin and it cannot be used again. So we want to use solderless type of breadboard because we can avoid to throw away the one that are not that are cannot use again. Okay, next is methodology. First one is microcontroller. Microcontroller is being used in the system. The microcontroller is being installed near sensors for the system to be functioned. When the sensor gives signal to the microcontroller, the system will start functioning as the system runs. After the sensor gives a signal to the microcontroller, the nozzle will spray the sanitizer from the tank all over the handrails, brakes, push handles, footrest, armrest, backrest, and seat. Okay, next one is breadboard. Breadboard is used to build electronic circuit. The components and wires are connected to the microcontroller. Sensors, actuators, and capacitors, resistors, and LED are put on the breadboard in order to run the system. Okay, the next one is coding. This is one of the example for the coding. The basic Arduino code logic is an if-then structure and can be divided into 4 blocks. The first one is setup. Will usually be written in the setup section of the Arduino code and perform things that needed to be done only once, such as sensor calibration. And the second one is input. At the beginning of the loop, read the inputs. These values will be used as conditions if, such as the ambient light reading from an LDR using analog read. The third one is manipulate data. This session is used to transform the data into a more convenient form or performs calculations. For instance, the analog read gives a reading of 0 to 1023, which can be mapped to a range of 0 to 255 to be used for EWM. And the last one is output. This section defines the final outcome of the logic. Then, according to the data calculated in the previous step, looking at our example of the LDR and PWM, turn on an LED only when the ambient light goes below a certain threshold. Okay, next one is expected result. In the end of for my expected result is The system will be able to function while using the specific coding suitable for sensors and microcontroller in the project. And the next one is the sanitizer will be able to be sprayed automatically without actually using any person's energy. Okay, this is my references that I get.
My name is Nurul Shahira binti ANUAR. My matrix number is 01 DKM4A I will explain detail about my part, which is electric circuit. First is the objective. There has three objectives in my part, which is the first one is to design an appropriate electric circuit to make the electricity flow from one device to another and make the auto-sanitized system works well. The second one is to develop a suitable component to be used for wiring the auto-sanitized wheelchair, such as sensor, motor, jumper wire and battery. And the last one is to test the performance of the wiring for auto-sanitized wheelchair system. The next one is scope. There has two scopes in my part, which the first one is to analyze the design of the circuit to improve the auto-sanitized wheelchair system, and the second one is to analyze type of components such as sensor, motor or battery that should be used in this circuit. Then we will go to the next slide, which is literature review. The first literature review is about a battery. In this project, I think rechargeable battery is more suitable than non-rechargeable battery. This is because it will produce less waste because they can be recharged with a simple battery charger and reused for 100 times. It also uses less energy because recharging battery with a battery charger is more efficient than the cost of making a new battery. The next literature review is about a submersible water pump motor. The reason why I choose to use this pump is because it has a small size and can be fully submerged in water tank. That will save more space. As we know, wheelchair has a limited space. Motor and pump were produced as a separated unit and will connect together functionally. A submersible water pump, also called as electric submersible pump. The function is to transfer the water from one place to another place. The pump which deal with the power use electric energy to drive the pump. In this project, I will use three types of sensor to make the system work smooth. The first sensor is ultrasonic sensor. An ultrasonic sensor is an electric device which emit ultrasonic sound wave to measure the distance of an object. It will convert the reflect sound into an electrical signal. Ultrasonic wave over faster than a speed of audible sound. Ultrasonic sensor have two main components. The first one is transmitter and the second one is receiver. Then the second sensor is float sensor. Float sensor is a type of water level sensor which is device used to detect the level of liquid within a tank. The last sensor is a limit switch. Limit switch is a type of sensor that detect present and absent. Mechanically, limit switch are mechanical controlled switch, meaning have to put arm, lever, knob and blinker that is controlled physically or manually by the making contact with another object. Okay, the next slide is a flow diagram on how this electrical circuit will function. Okay, the first one is from the battery, and the battery will supply power to all components in the diagram. And then it's go to ultrasonic sensor. When someone come near the wheelchair in 1 meter distance, it will send signal to microcontroller, and microcontroller will send signal to pump to start the sanitizer system. After that, we'll go to float sensor. Float sensor will function when the sanitizer reach the lower limit in the tank. Then the float sensor will send signal to the microcontroller, and microcontroller will send signal to LED light to change it from green to red. After we refill the tank with sanitizer, the LED light will change again from red to green. Okay, then we will go to the limit switch. The function of limit switch in this project is to cut the current when someone sit on it. Okay, the next slide is methodology. In this slide, I will explain more detail about how this system function. Okay, the first one is rechargeable battery. A battery is a device that stores chemical energy and convert it to electrical energy. In this project, the battery will supply the current to all other components that use electric energy, such as submersible water pump motor. Without battery, this auto-sanitizer system will not function as planned. The second one is the pump, which is submersible water pump. When the battery supply the power to the motor will start function. The motor will pump the sanitizer from the tank and push it to all nozzle which has been connected with the PVC hose pipe. This process can be done because the pump has to convert this rotary energy to kinetic energy into pressure energy. Okay, the next one is ultrasonic sensor. This sensor has been used for this project to detect the distance between the wheelchair and pupil to sanitize before and after people use it. The reason why we choose to sanitize before and after people use it is to make sure the wheelchair more secure from COVID-19 virus. An ultrasonic sensor works by emitting sound waves at a frequency too high. It can convert electrical energy into wave. Typically, a microcontroller is used for communicate with an ultrasonic sensor. When the sensor detects people come at the wheelchair with 1 meter distance, ultrasonic sensor will send signal to microcontroller to inform that the wheelchair is ready to sanitize. Then we will go to the next sensor, which is float sensor. This sensor is installed in the tank to sense the sanitizer level. When the sanitizer reaches the lower level, the float sensor will give a signal to microcontroller to make the LED light change from green to red. Last part of methodology is limit switch. In this project, limit switch also use. The function is to switch off the electric system when people sit on it. This is because ultrasonic sensor will be used in the system, so this is one of the way to prevent the sanitizer being sprayed when people sit on it. A limit switch is an electromechanical device that consists of an actuator mechanically linked to the set of connectors. When the object comes into connect with the actuator, the device operates the connectors to make or break an electric connection. The next slide is my expected result. The first one is all the sensors such as float sensor, ultrasonic sensor and limit switch will detect and give a right signal. The second one is the submersible water pump will able to pump and the sanitizer from the main storage tank to all the nozzle spray. And the last one is all the components that related with this electrical circuit will work and function as expected. Okay, my last slide for my part is references. This is just some article that I used to complete my research about this circuit. And all the references I get from Google Scholar. Then I will pass to the next presenter, which is MOIZZUDIN.
Hello, my name is MOHAMAD bin SHAHROZI. My matric number is 01 DKM4A Projet. My title is Auto Sanitized Wheelchair. My supervisor is Encik Khairil Ashraf bin Muhammad Maliki. My course lecturer is Puan Hismaniza binti Ismail. Next, I would like to present the slideshow is objective. First point, to design the storage tank using auto sanitized wheelchair. Second, to develop the auto water level control system. And the last point is to test the durability of a material suitable for use in storage tank. And next, the scope is first point, to analyze the design to improve the conduction process of storage tank. And second, to analyze the time to change the storage tank. Next, lateral review. My part is storage tank. First point is storage tank for storing liquid sanitized important to the efficient operation of any sanitized distribution system. Storage tank two main purpose. One is to provide storage tank volume, and the other is to provide pressure to distribution system. A particular tank can one or both purpose depend on its location with the system and its type of configuration. Okay, this point to main purpose, one volume and second to pressure of sanitized tank. Okay, next point, there are variety of tank types. The main types are plastic tank, steel tank, and fiberglass tank. My project choose the plastic tank because the low cost, lightweight. Why I do not to choose the steel tank and fiberglass tank? Because the steel tank dengan dan fiberglass tank the heavy weight and the high cost. Okay, next point to water level is a type of level sensor which device used to detect the level of liquid which a tank. The switch may be used to control a pump or a inductor of water level. Okay, the last point is the two primary purpose for the use of storage tank, which a sanitized liquid distribution system to provide for volume and pressure. Next slide, the show is methodology. First point, the position of storage tank is under the wheelchair because it is a space that does not disturb the person using the wheelchair. Next point, from the study show that the size of the tank. Size suitable for wheelchair sanitizer is 8 times 23 times 8. Others point, the conclusion in a day tank need to be changed 3 to 4 times according to the frequency in its use in a day. Next point, water level sensor we install in the tank to sensor the sanitize level. Then the sanitizes the low level. The fluid sensor will give signal to microcontroller to make sure the LED light change from green to red. The function of LED light is to giving signal that the tank must to be refilled with the sanitize. And the last point, the type of sanitized liquid used to sanitize a wheelchair is install liquid sanitize. This point, the point show is two liquid sanitize, gel and liquid. My team choose the liquid sanitizer. Other slide to show is design for storage tank. First point, the method used to for making a sanitized tank is plastic tank. Second, the advantage of plastic is double, low cost, water resistant, laser energy, and lightweight. And next point, the capacity of tank used is 1 liter of sanitizer. Okay, this and last to operation of storage tank. First, storage tank connection to water pump, and the last to parts nozzle. Next slide, the show is position of storage tank design. Okay. First, isometric view. This red circle to position for storage tank. Do not disturb the person menggunakan wheelchair ini. And second, front view. Next slide to show is expected result. First point, can supply sanitized liquid to the nozzle with a sufficient amount of sanitize to the wheelchair. Second, can provide the operation size or design tank for sanitize use to the wheelchair. And the last, can analyze the operation time for the tank change. And then the slide show is reference. First, PDF engineering design guideline for the storage tank. Second, to CIC press 1 edition February 1992. And the last, technology underground liquid storage tank system, book by John Hammond. This for my reference for to start the proposal for the reference. And the last slide, the show is estimate costing. My total price for the project is RM496.4 cents.
As a conclusion, our project is the most suitable idea because of knowledge, circumstances, and will provide a lot of benefit to all users. As the term suggests, even that all people have been facing and fighting together, this project is really useful to reduce the hospital workers' burden since they usually sanitize the wheelchair manually. By using our project, for the upper part of the wheelchair will be fully sanitized.